every business owner is in two businesses. They're in the lead gen business and whatever they do. What do I mean by that? If you're a doctor, you might be in the business of being a doctor and practicing. You might be a dentist, you might be a home builder, you might be an insurance person. But first and foremost, you're in the lead gen business, because you can be as good at the practice as you want to be. If you don't have leads and people to do it for, it's really irrelevant. The best people, in my opinion, if they don't see this as they're in the lead generation business, then they are either out of business quickly, or they are vulnerable to being out of business quickly, or they are vulnerable to being very compressed by the business when it's not easy. So what that means is that when the business is really easy and people are all calling you and they all want to move and everyone wants to buy and there's all these people in the market, that like you might be great with people and you might be really professional and you might be make cutesy marketing, but to me, a lot of agents survive on the same skill set that makes them a good bartender or a good waiter or waitress. They're good at service, but they don't have the sales and negotiation skills. They don't have the personal development skills to really push it when shit gets hard.
Welcome to the Studio 321 podcast, powered by Brightway, the Steve Trout Agency. We're sitting down with real estate pros, insurance nerds, mortgage masterminds, and local legends who are making moves on the Space Coast. Hosted by the best insurance crew in the 321. At Studio 321, it's all about community, real connections, and sharing a few laughs along the way. Strap in, let's launch into today's episode. All right, welcome back to Studio 321. I'm one of your hosts, Steve Trout, joined today by my two teammates and co-hosts from Brightway Insurance, our agency manager, Jason Buckner, and senior insurance advisor, Angela Delac. Ooh. It's great to have you both here.
Yeah, thanks, Steve-O. Thanks, Steve-O.
And today's guest has become one of the most recognizable connectors in our local real estate community. He publishes the magazine that top producing agents here in Brevard County actually look forward to reading, the Space Coast Real Producers. He's doing the same thing up in Orlando, and honestly, he's just one of those guys who makes everybody in the room feel like they belong. We are super excited to introduce the one and only Aaron Ludin.
Woo! Thank you, man. Thank you.
What's up?
You write that yourself, man?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
well,
That's pretty good.
Definitely not AI.
Yeah.
No, he's getting better at it.
We are getting slowly better at this.
Such a word.
Slowly but surely.
Yep. So we're almost at this a year now.
Whoa.
I know, and it doesn't seem like that. Like we've been kind of rolling with it for a while. We did, in the beginning, we were doing every 2 weeks, and then January 1st, we went to every week for like 3 months.
Oh, that was painful.
Every week was pretty painful. I mean, that was a lot.
Yeah.
Because you got to remember that we're not just doing this. We also are insurance agents for a living.
Well, we got to remind you of that.
Oh, shit, I forgot.
You know what I mean? So, like,
totally
we've been kind of grinding it. We're having a lot of fun with this, dude.
That's why I did 14 in a row today.
Yeah.
14, Jesus.
So this is your 14th interview of the day.
Well, I figured I didn't want to end on lucky number 13 over there, so I came over to this studio and hanging out with you guys.
Awesome, man. Hey, dude, I really appreciate you being here. It means a lot. I appreciate you having us as part of the Real Producers, too. It's been a cool pickup for us and just an awesome way for us to kind of continue our networking and marketing and stuff. I will say we were probably getting a little bit complacent on that. You know, we went through a few years in our industry that was pretty tough. And, you know, when we kind of came out the other side of that, now that our industry is healthy again and we're feeling really good about the business, kind of got energized to do some new things. And so you guys have been kind of part of that journey. So I appreciate it.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
So, man, let's go back, dude. Take us back to the beginning.
Where do you want to go?
Man, we want to know kind of what led you to where you are today. Like the big points in your life where you're like, this was something, you know what I mean? Big turning points and stuff like that. We want to know about Aaron Ludin more than anything, man.
So I was born in Philly. You know, I'm the kid raised on like watching Allen Iverson and, you know, Philadelphia subculture. But we moved to Florida when I was 12, 13 and moved to Maitland, Winter Park. And it's pretty crazy just coming from like the suburbs of Philly to suburbs of Winter Park, because you see like I saw people that were way wealthier than anything I'd ever been exposed to, and I saw people that were way poorer than anything I'd ever been exposed to. So it was really crazy. Yeah, but no, I mean, I didn't live in the inner city of Philly. I lived in the suburbs. So coming down to Florida, it was like, man, the rich kids were way richer and the poor kids were way poorer. Florida's just this melting pot, you know. And so,
couldn't have said it better.
But no, I grew up there, and I got actually recruited when I was 17 by Vector Marketing to sell Cutco knives, and I went in this interview. They recruited me. I thought it was weird, but my friend had made $800 his first weekend, and they kept calling me to try to get me to come out. And I was like, dude, if Ben, who got fired from Hollister, made $800 his first weekend, sign me up. You know, like sign me up. So shout out to Ben. But I was like, man, Ben's lazy.
He paved the way.
Lazy as shit, and I'm allowed to cuss on this. Ben's lazy, and he got fired from Hollister. So I was thinking, like, dude, if he made $800 and this is legal, like, sign me up. And so that's kind of where it all started. You know, I learned to sell. I happened to have a really good manager there, and I didn't realize this until not even then. Like, it took me till I was probably 28 to like wrap my head around that. I was really comfortable on the phones from the start, and I never really understood why. I always thought like, oh, it was just cool. I just booked a lot of appointments, and my managers taught me to get good at sales. But I was thinking back, and I can think of being a kid in my parents' office on the phone, dialing through a directory from the school, asking like, "Can Johnny come out? You know, can Johnny play on Saturday, or can someone do?" Like, they made me set up my own stuff. So I got really used to getting on the phone and calling my friends' parents. It was pretty normal to call Mr. Trout to ask if his son was available. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. And this is back before there were cell phones, so I was pretty comfortable calling people's parents. So when I went into this interview to sell, kitchen knives to people's homes, and they're like, "Call your friend's parents and tell them you're working on the scholarship," I was like, "Hell yeah!" So I had, without telling too much of the story, I had missed 2 days of training, and I'm on day 3, and I came in early, and I'm like, I got to impress them. So I just got on the phone. I started calling my friend's parents, like, dude, I need you to just put me in your schedule. They already hate me. Like, I got to win this contest. They're going to fire me. I didn't know. Yeah. And because of that, like, took a while, but I made $50,000 my senior year of high school selling these knives.
That's unbelievable.
And so that's kind of where it all
how
started.
How many freaking seniors in high school can say they made 50 freaking grand?
Yeah, and so, and it was like,
maybe if you're a drug dealer. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
well, back then, back then, 50 grand was a significant amount of money.
Good drug dealer. My drug dealing friends were making like 25. No, but I thought I was rich living at home, and so my senior year, half freshman year of college, I was making money, and I remember I was going to school. I was paying my way through Rollins College, and had a couple scholarships, but like was paying for a significant chunk of it. And I just realized, like, whenever I got out of class, I'd have to like race up the street to go like sell, like on a sales appointment. I'd have to like, be booked, and these kids would like be in the library writing essays, and I'd be like squeezing out to try to make enough money to do the thing. And I just realized, like, man, I'm spending a lot of money for them to make it really hard for me to go make a lot of money. I think I need to go to an easier school. And
that's a really good way to put it.
That's how I ended up at USF. Go Bulls!
Go
Bulls!
Anyway,
he would attest to that.
That's where it all started. So, long story short, is I got into sales really young. I got really well trained really young. I made good money for my age, and hired my first life coach at 18, Hal Elrod, and we could talk about that in a bit. But he was writing this book about morning routines, so I was like practicing this morning routine. The Miracle Morning ended up selling like 5-6 million copies now. So there's just like all these things, and being plugged into this world of personal development and sales and getting into like learning. And they had me reading Zig Ziglar and watching Tony Robbins and learning Brian Tracy and Jim Rohn, and you name the thing. Like, I was studying the crap out of it. And so 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, I got trained at 19. I opened up a Cutco office, actually. I had 125 sales reps on my team, 5 receptionists. It was my name on the door. I paid the lease. I negotiated that thing. And we ran all of Broward County. And so, we sold a few $100,000 that summer, and I learned a ton about, like, it was like a crash course in,
business.
like, in business. And I also learned that I didn't want my name on the door, but that's a whole other story. And it's crazy in real estate because you see these people that, like, just for the they don't realize it's ego, but they like want to be the CEO. They want their name on the door. They want to be the broker. They want to be the thing because like there's a culture of wanting to be entrepreneurial here, and they don't realize that someone would make a ton more money and serve a lot more people if they weren't so worried about the logo being decided by them or the and that's what I learned that summer. So anyway, that's kind of the story. But that I got into sales really young.
The broker thing is even more true today.
Oh, yeah, you see it all the time. People, and you're like, man, I forget because I learned at 18, 19, and I'm like, I forget that these people at 50 still don't know until they're like, oh, they're going to go learn. They're going to learn today, or tomorrow, I should say. But yeah, that's how it all started. So, but because earning, really good money at 17, 18, I was kind of a poster child for Cutco. So they had me speaking in everything. So I was speaking on stages 17, 18, 19, 20, and for, hundreds of times a year in front of anything from a small team meeting of 25 to like, a few thousand people at a conference. So it got really used to like, and I started because I was paying coaches. I started coaching people and get paid to coach them. And so you get what I'm saying. You get immersed in sales and marketing and business and all that stuff. So as I was finishing school and studying marketing and had been with the company for years, was, Hall of Fame member at that point. And when I graduated, the region manager was like, hey, what if when you graduated college, you could speak on stages, teach marketing concepts, make residual income, because that's what I really want. I was tired of like selling a set of knives that's going to last forever. And they're like, thanks.
Great point.
I'll never need another one of these. And he goes, but what if you could speak on stages, make residual income, sell a marketing concept, and still sell knives? And I was like, that doesn't make any sense, but I'd be interested. And he was like, there's this realtor program. And he told me all this realtor program and how the top people in the country, most like 80% of the top people were on this program. And that was selling Cutco closing gifts, which is like taking Cutco products, engraving them with the name, number, and logo and giving them to your clients. And we'd sell a 5-month supply and the realtors give them out.
Yeah.
So that was kind of where it all started, getting into the realtor world. So I started sponsoring events, and I would sponsor.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
How you got into that? That is.
Are you
just
still
crazy.
doing the closing gift stuff today, or are you more concentrated?
I mean, like if somebody that I've worked with like sends me an email, like I still write orders, but I don't take on new business.
Gotcha.
I don't market it. I have people that I refer my stuff out to because I'm impatient with it too. Like I'll take your order, but if you want me to like help you pick between a paring knife and a this, and you're gonna take an hour, I get like annoyed, and it's not like a good place to be in when you're like, I'm not in this business. I just want to write your order or not. Exactly, that's how I feel. So. Probably shouldn't verbalize that, but now people, that makes sense. That's how it started. So I was sponsoring from my own pocket. I was 20, 21, 22, sponsoring probably about 100 events a year. Wow. And I was a member of 9 different boards. There were 2 here back then. Everything up through Jacksonville, through Palm Beach, over to Orlando, Lakeland. And I was just every day of the week finding a room or 2 or 3 I could speak in front of a room of agents and pitch them this idea for a few minutes. So that's how it all built up. I had a team of 8 at one point. We were going all over the state and sponsoring a ton of events. And long story short, my counterpart in Indianapolis, him and I were talking about some of our frustrations being sponsors in the real estate world, which we could have a whole podcast on. But we realized, like, man, there's offices we spend a lot of time, money, and energy on, and we still don't know the top 1, 2, and 3 agents. We might know 20 agents in that office, the broker, the receptionist, kid's name and dog's name, but I don't know the agent that gets all the trophies at the that's like not there to pick up. They're not there to pick up their. I could even like text the broker and get in the meeting tomorrow, but what I can't do is meet the guy that's winning the thing or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Number 1, number 2. And so we were talking about like, well, what would get us in front of the top agents, help us identify the top agents, get us in front of them, but also get in front of them in a capacity that's significant enough that we could actually build a relationship. So, I don't really want to meet them at the water cooler in year 5 and be like, oh my God, you're so-and-so. This is such a pleasure to meet you. And they're like, sweet, I don't give a shit. I got stuff to do. And I'm like, but wait, I sell this cool thing. So that's where Real Producers started. I said, what if we did events that are for the top agents? Most organizations don't attract top agents. I thought, well, these top agents fly across the country to go to like Tom Ferry. Like, why don't they come to something cool in their backyard? And the reason is, respectfully to everyone, there's not a lot that's cool enough that caters to them, that doesn't have mediocre average agents there too. And so I wanted to do events. My friend called me back and he was like, hey, do you think top producing realtors would want to read a magazine that's all about themselves? And I spit my drink out. And
genius.
That's where it all started, because we realized that, hey, it might not, the magazine is how we get agents involved, but the events is how we get our sponsors and the relationships built. So we joined the 2 together. It's franchised now in 135 plus markets. And I've been running mine for 9 years in Orlando, 4 years here. And we're rolling.
I mean, the success of it is probably some driven by realtor egos, right?
Competitiveness,
but competitiveness, and also like they're marketing their brand all the time, right? A realtor is really their own brand walking around, And so by you putting them up on that pedestal and saying, recognizing their greatness or recognizing their accomplishments, right? Like you're helping build their brand too.
And it can't be
and
bought.
So why would they not buy into that? Why would they not want to be a part of it?
Exactly. And the big thing is it can't be bought. Like some people don't like that. They don't agree with a ranking. We can't be bought. Like we do this across the country. It's not perfect, but this is our rankings. You can find it as legit as you want. You could protest it like Kanye protests the Grammys. You know, like you know what I mean? Like it happens.
Do you get a lot of that?
I mean, we get plenty of it. So
yeah.
People,
well, I would imagine you get, you do your top 300.
Yeah, we rank someone's number 301, or
somebody's pissed.
Someone's mad we counted this, or we didn't count that, or they didn't log their new construction, or we couldn't see their team, or the team wasn't counted. And none of these data aggregators count teams versus not teams well. Agents aren't all honest; they don't all do their thing the same, even if they were being honest.
Yeah.
So there's people that split. So like even the people being totally honest, splitting with a big team, they don't want to have a half credit when we look up the team. And they also don't want to be compared to a solo agent when you. So it's there's not a way. You get what I'm saying? It's an aggregator problem.
Right. Yeah.
And this is all the aggregator. It's not any specific MLS. It's not any specific. It's just kind of a thing across the board in the industry. Across
When did you start doing the badges? Because I would imagine that really helped you guys take off. Have you been doing the badges since the beginning, or is that something that came later?
I wouldn't say take off as much as like. It's something that came, we started doing it a couple years ago and it spread around the country pretty quickly, but it doesn't take, like the way that you think it takes off is not really what takes off for us. Like our presence and engagement and all that is the same. What's different is the number of people that help make sure we have good data. See, the purpose of the badges you would think is like, oh, everyone's talking about it. They're all posting about us.
Yeah.
No, that's a piece of it, but the real behind the badge, behind the curtain, is we want agents to reach out if they didn't get our emails and texts.
Yeah.
We want people to text us to get their ranking. Why? Because when I send you the stuff for the party, next Thursday, I want to make sure you're getting the message. And the only way to know about that before the party just happens and you're mad about it on Facebook is for you to be mad about the badge you didn't get.
Yeah.
Or for you to be like, hey, how come I didn't get this yet? Oh, we sent it to this email. Or so we have to stir up a big buzz so we can scrub our data and also so we can get in contact with our list quickly. So not only is it nice to identify the list, but what's nice is like they text us to get their ranking. Well, I could have an autoresponder. Hell, I could actually use variable data and text all of them, hey, Steve, you're number 27, you're number 28. But then I wouldn't talk to Steve. So they actually literally talk to us. Like me and my team are monitoring the phone lines for weeks. Just to have conversations so we can start a combo. So when Steve texts in to get his number, my team and I are like, what's up, Steve? Your number this. By the way, really quick, while I'm talking to you, is this the right info? Is this the right email? Is this the right cell phone? Is this the right whatever? Is this data getting to you? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then I can be like, oh, by the way, are you coming to the Toast to the Top? That's our party on this day. Are you coming to this one? So I can start a combo, or let's just say that I like to look in because my team does a lot of it, but I can see all the stuff and I'll see, let's say Steve's on my list of people I want to do a story about, and I see Steve's talking to our line. I might actually jump in. You guys can't tell the difference, but like my assistant's talking to Steve, and then I actually hop in and I'm like, hey Steve, by the way, like this is Aaron. I want to tell your story. Shoot me a text. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We have about 280 conversations in in a few day period. So between two markets where we have 800 agents that are getting ranked, really it's more like 1,500 because we actually rank the top 1,000 in Orlando and the top 500 in Space Coast. Our stuff only goes for free to the top 300, but we do give a ranking to basically like the first 200 off the list and the first 500 off the list. They get their badge and their ranking and all that. We can talk about that strategy in a second, but so we end up in conversation with 800 plus people in the first 2 weeks of the year.
Jeez.
So it's really nice because if I'm meeting with Steve and he's like, so do agents care about this thing? I'm like, I don't know. I talked to 800 of them the last 2 weeks. They're talking to my assistant right now.
Yeah.
Like, do they care? You'll see. Come to the party.
Yeah.
Right.
Watch it on social.
That's what I was curious
and
about
so
too.
we know, like, and if someone's like, oh, can I come check it out? It's like, no, you can check it out on Facebook the next day, on Instagram the next day, and you can wish you were there. You can call the agents that are there. You can call the sponsors that are part of it. But am I going to open the doors to someone that's not actually supporting the thing when all these people are? Hell no.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why I bring a lot of videographers and photographers so you can see the pictures.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, and you do.
No,
I mean,
it makes sense.
No.
I'm real protective of
Yeah.
it, and that's one
And
thing
you
that makes
guys
us unique. You know,
and it really from top to bottom, it's professional. The photography is professional.
Oh, yeah.
Everything's well
Yeah.
done. The magazine covers that you guys frame for everyone. I mean, just the way you guys set it up.
Yeah, it's nice.
When you're there, you're like,
First time,
yeah, this is
the one I went to, I
this
was
is
like,
the
wow,
way
this
you
is
do it
legit.
right
Yeah,
here.
100%.
we have an obligation. Like to me, you know, we serve. Like there's no membership, right? Like we don't sell the top 300, so like we have to keep them engaged and. I don't get to pick the 300. They just are who they are.
Yeah.
So it's not Aaron's favorite 300. You know,
Yeah.
it's the top 300. And so my team's job is to be in touch and communication, understand them enough, speak their language enough, or at least know what they need and don't need enough to get them to show up at things so that you guys stay happy.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
and I think that's what makes us unique is we're not trying to serve all the agents. We're not trying to serve all. We don't have membership. We don't have someone we have to serve. You know, we have to get their attention and get them to show up and. We sell access to the sponsors to come fish in our pond, and I promise that we keep the pond stocked.
Yeah. What are some of the challenges when you're selling that access? You know, like I know, we had talked. It took me years to get on board. But what do you think are some of the challenges?
I wouldn't really say challenges as much because we have a very like flipped psychology on a lot of it, which is like we run like I like to think of it more like a private country club, private like without a physical location, which is like we don't chase people down because that's not our style. Like it's not the posturing we even want with them. So I would love to have more people. We'd love to constantly grow, but we never need to grow. We're always funded for the next 3 or 4 years at any given moment. So because we have long-term contracts with our partners, we don't sell small things. So it makes us different.
Noticed.
You know? What makes it different is we can actually build off it. So when someone supports us, they know that like we're not going to go somewhere in 6 months. We're not going to suddenly be disappearing, and that we're pooling together. Like it goes 2 ways, right?
Yeah.
So like if Steve's on a 2-year deal, I also am on a 2-year deal. I have to do work on his behalf and run programming for the top 300 for the next 2 years.
Yeah.
And my team's on contract for it.
Right.
So that's what makes us different is we're not a board, we're not an industry, we're not volunteers, we're not employees of someone. Like we run this thing off contracts and we're good at what we do. So we're contracted to do programming for the top agents by let's say 50 different companies in the city. So I would say that the hardest thing sometimes is getting that across to the right people without us being an outside and chasing them down because we don't have the bandwidth to go out there and knock on everyone that could be a part of this and convince them that they should. We also don't have the bandwidth to hold their hand on using it. So one of our biggest problems is let's just say that so-and-so is really excited, they jump on board, but then they don't plug in, they don't show up, they don't take our phone calls, you get what I'm saying, or their person isn't very good. Like Steve signs up, but he always sends so-and-so and so-and-so sucks, you know? It's really hard. Or so-and-so stands in the corner. It makes my job really hard because I could get all the best agents in the room and I can't be like, oh, you sure you don't want to use you?
Yeah, you got to figure out how to
Jimmy in
make
the corner?
the most of the opportunity.
So
No.
that's sometimes, I would say the biggest challenge is getting people to use it and show up and communicate. I mean, I have partners who like, I'm trying to give them an opportunity. They don't pick up their phone. They don't text back. It's one thing if you're busy, like I respect that, but I don't get anything back for weeks on end. It's like, all right, dude, for the amount of money they spend with me month after month after month, sometimes it's like offensive that they won't respond to stuff because it's like someday you're going to hold me accountable to all the money you spent and and I'm going to try to hold you accountable to all the times that I was trying to give you a opportunity
Absolutely.
or a referral
Great point.
and then I got to go out there and I'm supposed to go sell the person on like, oh, Steve's great, he's going to be awesome, he's really referable. Well, I'm an honest dude, so I can't say, I can say Steve's endorsed by a lot of top agents, let's say, but if he doesn't pick up the phone, I can't say he does.
Right.
So I think that's my biggest challenge is having, and obviously like Steve's been great at picking up the phone, just to be clear. But like I get this problem with people that like they think they can mail me a check and I'm going to endorse them.
Yeah.
It's like I can give you the access, but I can't endorse you if you're not endorsable. I need to stay out of that combo.
Yeah.
Honestly, like
I think that's a pretty cool aspect
Yeah,
of what you do.
it is.
It's
like
show me
fiduciary to
the
not
money,
talk
but as well,
Exactly.
like why you're partnering with me. Show me why you're a good partner. Like let me
it's a
endorse
two-way
you, but show
street.
me. I
It's
dig
a
it.
two-way street. I don't like respectfully, like we don't struggle with getting agents engagement. We struggle with getting partners to use it properly.
Yeah.
We sometimes
That makes
struggle with
sense.
getting the schedule. Like Brevard County, one of my biggest challenges, some of these venues just aren't very professional.
Yeah.
They won't book their schedule weeks in advance, months in advance easily with simple phone calls and emails. They want you to show up and, like sit down for lunch instead of like send an email and get the contract done. And we run a bunch of different markets, so it's difficult. That what I would
difficult
say
to
is a
do
big
that. Yeah,
challenge.
yeah.
And then when you find a venue that does respond, you're like, should I do the party here forever? You know, like you want to not, but you're like, should I chase down that place that never responds? So I think that's my I joke about, but that's probably the bigger challenge. Also, I'd say one more thing: old school mindsets. I mean, there are people that like twofold. Either they're stuck in the ways of how they already do things, so they don't like want to try something new, or they might say it this way, but like we threaten the status quo. We change up the status quo. They're like the inner circle, or they're like the known people, or they're the cool people, or they already throw parties, or they already do cool marketing, or they already do cool events. So like, why would I need to pay this guy to do cool events? I do cool events. It's like, that's exactly why they should. Like, we should be partnered with everyone that values cool events, because we already do cool events. They don't have to worry about us. Like, if you do really good events, great. Some of them, like, let us do some of the events. We're going to do them anyway. It's going to be paid for by all these different people. If you know how to work an event, come to the event. We're going to get the agents to show up. Like, why compete? Seems dumb to me. But that's, I would say, the bigger challenge is sometimes we come in a market and they're like, I don't need to pay that. I could do this myself. It's like, yeah, you could, but then you have to do it yourself. Like, aren't you also doing title, mortgages, insurance? Like, we do this full time.
Yeah, it's a built-in platform. All you have to do is just go execute.
Just plug in, show up.
Plug in,
If you want to do something bigger, send a check. You know, like otherwise.
That's what really attracted to me to it recently, is because, you know, I built a team. I'm slowly stepping back from the day-to-day. My team's kind of taking things over. And I needed to have a platform where they could just plug in, like you said, and show up, right? And this did that for us. This has given us a way to go, hey, we're doing, these 4 parties are on the schedule. You know what I mean? These events, the headshot days and all that stuff, right? We're going to plug into all that because we want to be as involved as possible. And we have the team to move it around. So it's not on one person. Right. You know what I mean? And so for me, that's why I loved the platform, because it really did give us access to people in an easy way. I didn't have to plan the event. I didn't have to deal with it.
And they're in a different setting. People forget, like, you're not behind a table. You're in a place where we're celebrating that. Like, people forget. It's just the ego side part, but we're really, these people are underappreciated. Regardless of whether they have egos, they're so underappreciated. It's a thankless job. They're underappreciated in what they do and how they do it and how many people they do it for. And so we're the few people that are honoring them, recognizing them, giving them really good photography, telling their story, framing it. Look, some of these people are going to be a badass agent for 20, 30, 40 years. You know what? The only thing that's going to be there when they die and they're cleaning out that apartment or that house or whatever that, you know, they end up passing in is the framed article on their wall. And you know how I know? I give out a lot of frames, but we were cleaning out my grandma's place, and she had my great-grandfather's framed article from his newspaper clipping. And all of a sudden it hit me. I'm like, damn, I've given out a lot of these. And I was like,
I bet you people are going to hold on to them.
It's the only thing I took.
They
cleaned this, and she owned a craft gallery. She had so much nice stuff in that home. We didn't want, like, I felt almost bad. I'm like, nobody wants any of the stuff she collected with like fine taste for decades. But what did I want? The framed article. So sometimes I recognize, like, Scott on this cover may not know it, but this may be something his kids fight over. So, you know, like exaggerating, knock on wood, but like I get it. And so it's a thankless job. We touch the personal side because we do tell their story. They're not just, hey, you sold a lot. It's like they're talking about their hopes, their goals, their dreams, their kids' names, their backstory, how they got in it, whatever. It gives a little piece of each of their personalities. And I think that's one of the other things that not just makes it work, but makes it unique so people can build real relationships, which is like, I see the person behind the deals. And then we put them in a setting where you're not behind a booth or a table or selling them stuff or pitching something. You're like at an event that we're celebrating them, and you're not there by accident. They know you're legit. You didn't, you know, I always joke, they didn't bring bagels or donuts. They're the best of the best. So you can meet them like they're a peer, or you're both part of this club. Instead of like at a happy hour, you're like, let me sell you some shit. I'm a vendor. Let me tell you, you know. Let me tell you about my company.
I think you talk about, you know, these top agents aren't decorated or aren't honored enough, whatever. But I don't think anybody talks about like how passionate you are about what you do. I mean, hear you talking here like you're fired up, dude.
I mean, look, I've been a vendor.
No, like I think that's one of the key to your success and how good Real Producers is. You're very passionate about it, and probably not a lot of people think you enough.
I come from thank you. I come from outside sales. Like I, you know, made my money as selling kitchen knives to people's homes. Like, for years. So I get, like, it might not sound the same, and there might be a lot more complexity and emotions, but I've sat in more kitchens than most of the agents that rank in my list. in Orlando, at least, maybe not in Space Coast, but I've been in any of the neighborhoods they could name, any side of town, any zip code, except for the ones that are newly developed. Like I may be a little limited in Lake Nona because it wasn't as built up, but you name a nice neighborhood. I was once name a nice neighborhood. I was once meeting with an agent. She was talking about closing gifts, and she was like, "Oh, well, my clients." When I was like, "Your clients? Like, what does that mean?" She's like, "Well, my clients are kind of particular," and I was like, "Where do your clients live?" And she named a neighborhood, and I said, "Okay, where do you think I sell?" And she's like, I said, "Name a street." She goes, "Well," I was like, "Name a street in the neighborhood." And she names it, and I was like, "We're going to put it in my database. We're going to see if I have any clients. We're going to see how many live on that street." And she named a street. We pulled it up. There were like 3 Cutco clients on that street.
Nice.
And so that's when we started to realize like there's a lot of overlap.
Yeah.
So a lot of my passion comes from like I trained outside salespeople. So it might not be real estate, but essentially this is an adult version, a professional version. Yeah. When I went into Bold at Keller Williams, I realized like they're doing the same training that I taught at Cutco. And a lot, like 90% of it is exactly the same. Again, like I don't want to be like overlook contract side of real estate, but I'm talking like the getting an appointment, getting a referral, getting in the door. That side,
the talk.
The first half of it, and the building the business, because I had to get in enough kitchens to make
that's
6
the hardest part
figures.
for people. Everybody can figure out the contract side. Right?
Yeah, exactly. That's the easy part. That's the legal part.
Yeah, you can learn that part. And
the other ones that agents don't do.
The other one is almost it's very difficult to train, right? It's hard to change your behavior that you've been a certain way for 30, 40 years of your life, and now you're in this sales training. All of a sudden, you're not going to walk out of there a different person.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's hard to
and real estate has all these options. Like you can buy Zillow. You can like we don't have leads we can buy at Cutco. I have to get your name and number written down by somebody.
Yeah.
And I have to call you and get in your kitchen.
True.
Or I don't get an appointment. And so if I want to eat or if I want to, make 6 figures every year,
hunting.
I need to get in a lot of kitchens.
Yeah.
And I need to get a lot of names and numbers from people. So I need to get in with someone like Steve and get him to write down like 20, 30, 40, 50 people from his cell phone and unload it because he wants to help me out. And I have to be really damn good, like respectfully, like I have to be good at sales. And interpersonal communications to have enough connection where he's like, I like this kid, I believe in this kid, I want to help this kid. Hell yeah, I'll give them all my number, call my friends. And that's, a different skill set. So the reason I say I'm passionate about it is I recognize a lot of these agents aren't really trained in sales. They weren't trained at a young age, and they're basically stuck into a very similar role that also has higher emotions and longer sales cycles and all these things that make it even more complicated. But there's a respect for like what an agent has to do. Yeah. And then the flip of it is I've been a vendor. Like I know what it took, and I also know how trained in sales I was. So I know that if I was like really good on the phones and getting my foot in the door, and it took me years to get into this office over here or that office over here, I'm like, yeah, I'm damn sure know this person who's showing up with cookies and is not that, you know what I'm saying? Like some of these business development people just lack that skill set. And so I have a passion for the two kind of combined. Yeah. And I've worn both hats to some extent. Like I've never been either completely, but that's why I'm in a unique role is that,
That's awesome.
I understand the vendor and the agent.
I kind of I call you the ultimate connector. You know what I mean? Like you're probably of anybody I've met and in the real estate community, probably the biggest connector I've met. Where you're really connecting people together.
Well, thanks.
Like you do a really good job of that. Like, and you're passionate about it.
Sure.
And so that's where it starts, and that's why you're good at it.
Yeah. I mean, I believe in it. I think it matters, and I think we live in a world we have more options to be connected, and we have more we're more connected, but we're less connected than ever before. We have all this connectivity, but we're behind a phone. We're not really connected. We're not really connecting. We're not noticing the person next to us. Yeah. We're connected to 6,000 of them, and if we make 2 clicks. And if I want to bitch about something, I can get in front of hundreds and thousands of people. But if I want to connect with someone on a real level and have them feel it, that doesn't happen that often.
Yeah. So I got a question for you, man. So you interview a ton of realtors, for your magazine. You have for many years in Orlando and Space Coast. What do you think? And obviously, the ones you're interviewing are the top, the top agents or the people breaking in or showing real promise or whatever. What do you think is the biggest differentiator between the ones that do really well in real estate and the ones that struggle?
I would say, if we boil it down to one thing, it's my friend Craig De La Hoya always says that every business owner is in 2 businesses. They're in the lead gen business and whatever they do. So what do I mean by that? If you're a doctor, you might be in the business of being a doctor and practicing. You might be a dentist. You might be a home builder. You might be an insurance person. But first and foremost, you're in the lead gen business because you can be as good at the practice practitioner as you want to be, if you don't have leads and people to do it for, it's really irrelevant. And so the best people, in my opinion, see the business. I mean, they don't all see it that way, but they all treat it that way, which is like if they don't see this as they're in the lead generation business, then they are either out of business quickly, or they are vulnerable to being out of business quickly, or they are vulnerable to being very compressed by the business when it's not easy. So what that means is that when the business is really easy and people are all calling you and they all want to move and everyone wants to buy and there's all these people in the market, that like you might be great with people and you might be really professional and you might make cutesy marketing, but to me, a lot of agents survive on the same skill set that makes them a good bartender or a good waiter or waitress. They're good at service or decent with people, but they don't have the sales and negotiation skills. They don't have the personal development skills to really push it when shit gets hard. And when the market gets tougher, they're not doing enough lead generation activity to make up for it. Whereas like I went to post a picture the other day and it's me and I'm 18 years old sitting and I look young as shit. And I'm sitting with a phone on my ear and I was like, I've been, eating 100 calls for breakfast since I was this young, and not that every day I make, but like I'll sit down and make 300 calls if I have to. I'll sit down and send, there's some evenings where if I'm still going at it, like I pre-schedule 120 text messages for the next day. So if you ever get a message from me at like 9 a.m. and I don't respond for 3 hours, I probably sent that yesterday.
Yeah.
And I probably sent 100 of them. And they probably were to you. Like it was not like I sent, like I actually went through like something, like maybe I went through every single one of my partners and I had different questions and I wrote the ones for Steve and they hit tomorrow and they hit, so like I'm not afraid to do a hell of a lot more work than the average person. And so I recognize that the best agents, they know that the lead generation activity matters and they're not afraid to really outwork people. The rest of them just want to be involved. It's like that chicken and the chicken and the egg thing, or you ever know what's the breakfast? Bacon and the bacon.
I was just talking to an insurance.
I was just chicken's involved, the pig died for it. That's the difference. That's the difference. So no, seriously, the market gets tougher. Their phone just rings less.
Yeah. Honestly, I went to lunch with a top agent here in Brevard and I posed a similar question to them, and that's the money didn't really matter. It was that I'm going to outwork the next person. That's what really makes them go. And that, I mean, you can tell obviously, but
if you focus on the business, if you focus on like what Aaron's talking about, the lead gen, and really concentrating on how you're going to make your phone ring, the money's going to come.
Right.
Well, I think, and you were like, I'll outwork the next person. Like that's your deal. Like I'm going to outwork you. I will do better. That's
And I think also like having the right work ethic, the right mindset, the right integrity, the right person, like those things also matter because it's people that work really hard, but they're sketchy as fuck. Excuse me. They do shady shit and it comes back.
You're right.
Or they're not likable. Like you could just not be likable or just be socially awkward.
true.
There's all these things that like I think if you're just a good person, you're cool and you like keep your core value and look like I might piss somebody off. I'm very willing to be like blunt and speak my mind. I'm much more willing to tell you I don't think this is working and have you be mad at me about it than tiptoe around it just so you could stay my friend. I'd rather you hate on me for being real honest. And because of that, for me, I know that reputation will precede you. So you're either going to deliver results or you won't. They won't get shaded by whether or not someone likes you. So to me, I've learned that my role isn't to be liked by everybody. It's to run my thing well. It's almost to be respected. So to me, it's like, I don't even mind if my partner's like, well, he's kind of an asshole, but I like his program. That's cool with me. I'd much rather that than you really like me, but be like, I like him, so that's why I do this. I want you to do this because it's really damn valuable. And sometimes you got to step on some toes to run a group for the top 300 people and all the advertisers. Sometimes if you got 50 advertisers, 17 of them are the same thing, or 6 of them are insurance and 10 of them are title and 10 of them, like you're going to step on someone's toes. And I think the reason it works well is I've got a big heart and good core values and will compass, but I'm not afraid to step on someone's toes because I know who I serve and I know how to do it and I don't compromise,
I was talking to another agency yesterday that they're just getting started with Brightway, so they're pretty green, but he's built a team pretty quick, and he was just kind of asking me, like what our differentiator was, And I said, I don't wake up every day thinking about what insurance I'm going to sell. I wake up every day saying, how am I going to make the phone ring?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? And so that goes just like that's what I think of every day.
And then in that process,
the rest
you treat
of it,
them right too. Like,
correct.
It's not like there's two. You get
the
the Wall Street guy.
Really,
that
the
gets
insurance is the easy
phone
part
ringing, but then he's doing the weird. You know what I'm saying? When you get the two together, the rest takes care of itself. People start referring you. They start talking about you because you're a good dude and you handle your shit.
And now there's some days where I feel like, man, we generate so much business here that we couldn't stop the train if we freaking wanted to now. Like with the network we've built and the relationships we built, I mean, they just feed us constantly.
I love it.
And so I love what you were saying. That it goes to any business. Like you're talking about the doctor or whatever. Like it's so true in any business.
Yeah, if your phone doesn't ring,
I just think a lot of businesses forget that.
Why is John Morgan the top law firm in the country?
Planet,
because he's the top marketer.
Yeah,
he's out marketed everyone. The phone rings more than anyone else's, and because of it, he's bigger. Is it because he's the best attorney? I have no clue if he's the best attorney.
I'll say this is going to be this is super unpopular in my industry, but I actually am a big fan of John Morgan. That guy is he's a beast, dude. Like you were saying, from a marketing perspective, you got to respect him.
You got to,
Plus,
he's our pot daddy, so you gotta love that, man.
That's true.
I actually follow him online, dude. He's freaking hilarious.
Yeah,
dude.
There you go.
He's an animal.
Yeah.
He gets after it.
But
so what else we got to go with this one?
Oh man, so let's do a deeper dive into Ludin, man.
Dude, where are you going to go?
I mean, every day you're working up and you're grinding, dude. And not everybody's got that. You were talking about you're going to outwork everybody. You're going to outwork the next guy, right? Like, where does that come from at your core? Like, what drives you? What is, like, making you get up every day and focus on doing that? Like, where does that come from?
Probably childhood trauma. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking.
Some people it is, right?
I don't know. It's true. No, like, probably adulthood trauma, actually, if we're being honest about it. I recognize that life is short, man. You're, like, I'm a lot of cussing listeners are going to offend. It's going to be, like, you're going to fucking die someday.
Yeah.
And, 2020, I ran this event with a friend of mine. We sold 100-something agents. I went into this room. My friend and I broke down this social media direct marketing training for agents. We had been doing our normal, like I run a mastermind every month for agents, and we used to get 200 plus agents pre-COVID in a room. Like 200-300 in a room every single month, and we'd be teaching. And so we had these agents talking about social media, and my friend and I were like plugging a few answers in, and it went so well. People were like, "Damn, you should teach on this." So we sold a class. We sold 100 people like $100 plus ticket, and we did this big class, and it sold out. It went awesome. I was like, we should do more of these. And that night, I flew out to Colorado. I went to basically a skiing trip for my brother. It was about to be my brother was getting married. I went out to they had like a ski trip for all his friends instead of a bachelor party. I went into the Airbnb, I checked in, went to sleep, and I woke up 16 days later in a hospital. Oh. And I couldn't tell you the story. I couldn't tell you exactly why I fell, how I fell, altitude, sleepwalking, slipped, who knows? But I fell out on the stairs. I hit my head, brain injury, broke my wrist in 2 places, and
goodness,
don't remember 16 days of that experience. And I woke up, and essentially during that time period, one of my friends started to GoFundMe, raised $54,000 in 2 days from the real estate world. Again, I didn't even know this happened. And so they airlifted me back to Florida. Basically, I got not woken up, but I got taken off of like whatever sedatives they had me on because they had to fly me out the next day. And my first memory is 16 days later. So you can imagine when you wake up in a hospital and and the last thing you remember is going to sleep in a bed, and now they're telling you that your wrist is broken in 2 places, your brain's bleeding, you have permanent brain damage, you might never talk or walk, and they won't give you your phone, they won't let you do, and you get what I'm saying. Like, it's a pretty traumatic and weird experience, and it kind of wakes you up really quickly when they tell you almost died. Especially when it's in some frivolous way. It's not like I was like skiing and fell, or you know what I'm saying? Like, there's certain things where you don't think you're gonna happen. But like when you're driving a car, if you get hit, you're like, okay, I was driving a car.
Yeah.
Like I was asleep in a bed. Like you can't feel safer, So I would say that a lot of what drives me is realizing, I've been driven before this obviously, but like realizing that life is short. And some of us are going to die in some frivolous way that's probably not going to be the day you expected, the day you planned on. And so being kind of slapped in the face by that, to me, I try to approach every day recognizing that, like, I got to live like it might be my last day.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can't control what's going to happen tomorrow. I can't control what's going to happen in the future. I can only control how I show up today. So even this conversation right here, I could give you some lame ass answers and sit back and you could just kind of go through the motions, or I could like speak in a way that if I walked out in the parking lot, got hit by a truck, and you played this back, you'd be like, damn, he said some shit. And you felt something before I walked out that door, and that was the last impact I left. So I just believe, like, to everyone watching, that like you never know when the last chance you're going to have to make an impact on the world, like when your curtain call is going to be. And I just think that You got to freaking show up knowing that,
I just got the chills.
you don't know.
We're glad you're
So-
here,
That's
a
brother.
great message.
Glad you're here.
That's where the passion comes
He,
from.
he turned it up real quick, didn't he?
Yeah.
Like, let's go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I mean, you told me you wanted something, so
yeah.
People have to be reminded of that. They
do you-
just
do
go
you-
through the motions every single day,
100%.
and like they just forget about like
100%.
live life.
Yeah.
Like,
And
go.
I mean, we could go.
So
and
when you
said,
think
like,
about
you
that,
said,
do you
where's it
ever,
come
do you ever
from?
get
Like,
mad about it? Do you ever get like frustrated
look,
about
I
it? or
can't
try to
fix
look-
it. Like,
yeah.
do I get mad? Yeah, when you smash your frontal lobe, you get mad about a lot of shit. But I got to keep that to myself sometimes.
Yeah.
Because I learned that like it comes off so verbally aggressive, I can't always share
Yeah.
like my thoughts because they're unfiltered. And I would take it back. Like if I was mad at Steve and he's my friend, like I like Steve, I could be like, Steve, this is what like, and I could take it back, but other people don't receive it well. So I had to learn, when you first. So I found out when you first hit your head, I knew I was screwed up for a bit, but I didn't know it takes 18 months for the brain to swelling to come down.
Yeah.
So I learned this like 2 years ago that it was 18 months. So the first year, like the first few years,
Goodness.
I assumed that like I just was an angry dude and some other thing. It wasn't until I was like a couple years ago, I was talking to a doctor and I said, well, the first 6 months, she goes, 6 months, it takes 18. I was like, well, that makes a lot of sense. I was starting thinking back to all these times.
You're like, I wish somebody told me that sooner.
Man, you're a real asshole. You know that?
And here's the other thing, like it's hard when like I run 2 full-time businesses and it's only me, my VAs. Like I have, I have help like that helps me with events thing, but like there's not a whole giant staff doing all the stuff. And so I juggle a lot in general. And so even just keeping the whole thing running, a lot of people don't recognize like what that took when like I smashed my freaking head and wasn't sure my brain would work. And I couldn't pick who was going on the next cover. I had to ask other people to help me pick. And I didn't know if I'd be able to run the thing. So like while doing that, my dog was dying. I was like not sure if my my wrist was
God,
broken.
him when
And
it down.
COVID, like just to tell the story even better, I checked out of the hospital. I got flown back. I got airlifted back to Florida. I was in the hospital for 4 days. I was like and they had me. I was like looking around me and everyone was like in their 80s and like, like diapers and helmets. And I was like, I don't think I'm that screwed up. Like I'm screwed up, but not that screwed up. And they took me to physical therapy and this lady gave me a Nerf soccer ball and told me to dribble it. And I was like, ma'am, I went to soccer. Like I played, like I was state champion in high school. Like I
didn't get
played
shit, she
college
said.
soccer, like, yeah, like, and I started juggling. She was like slowing me down. She's like, slow down, slow down. So when we were throwing the ball and the physical therapist was dropping it more than I was like, I don't think this is right for me, but I need to go home. My dog's like home dying. So anyway, I checked out of the hospital and COVID hit 2 weeks later. So I never actually went through, like I checked out to go to a recovery program at UCF. That thing got canceled because of COVID. I checked out, I went home and basically semi-slept it off and went back to work. So like I run a group in Orlando, like I said, in Orlando, Real Producers was, thriving. And it was like, if I don't save it, it's going to die. And so I went home and buckled down and did the best I could virtually. And we transitioned to learning how to do virtual events and connecting people through Zoom. Like we ran 200-person events where we threw them into Zoom rooms and had them talking to each other.
Wow.
And all sorts of crazy things. And so I just think what drives me is just like, man, relenting. Like I'm a competitor, man. I just and I've been through a lot of shit. Like I'm like maybe 5'6" on a good day. Like I've always been the tiny one. And I played sports. My brother's almost a foot taller than me here. So like I grew up with a brother 2 years older that that can block every shot I take on the basketball court. It can shoot over me every time. I can't block his shot. So I have to figure out how to be scrappy enough.
Exactly.
I'm a 5'5", 5'6" defender. And in soccer that doesn't always work well when you got 6'1" forwards. So like,
Right.
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I think a lot of it comes from just being competitive and always being the underdog, like literally, literally physically. Like
Yeah.
I've been the little one, the underdog, but I got to outsmart the people I play against.
Nothing
And
wrong with underdog.
I think it's the same thing I see business like a sport. Like
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
out strategize everybody and outwork them.
It's awesome.
Well, you're sitting here with two of probably the best insurance agents in the county right here. What drives you guys? Like, what do you think sets you apart, and why are you guys so damn successful?
Go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying, I feel you because I've always been an athlete. I mean, I was an athlete too, and I think just always being competitive. Like I'm always talking about my numbers. I'm always asking where I'm at. Like that's just, it doesn't go away. And just the next, and I don't have boundaries. So I'm working day and night, whether that's texting referral sources in the weekends or whatever. It doesn't bother me. And that's the thing. Like I just don't. And I come from, my husband's really competitive. My daughter's really competitive. It's just like ingrained in us. So I can't shut it down.
Yeah, I'm a bit on the opposite end of the spectrum there because growing up, I did competitive sports. I actually grew up competitively surfing, and I would feel bad if I beat somebody.
Oh yeah, no.
So I was always like that.
He's definitely on the spectrum.
Yeah. No, that was just always my thing. I never liked beating anybody, but I think I learned, I don't know, 8 years into this thing myself, because going through it, I was going through the motions. Anyways, the last couple of years, I realized I was good at talking with people. I realized I was good at making problems go away or making somebody call mad, make them happy.
Right.
I was good at talking with people, and that in turn led people to be comfortable with me. I can make people feel comfortable with me, and that turned out to being a successful business because we're similar as realtors where we are our own business. So like every call is a marketing call for me. And
Right.
that's how I treat it. And yeah, people like to talk to me, I guess.
Definitely.
You're a likable guy.
I'm likable, and I feel like I'm kind of funny. So,
But even
but as
like,
far as like
He's been doing great.
but as far as like beating somebody,
no.
you know,
I don't even think it's about. It's just me. Like
See,
I'm in competition with myself.
I'm a quiet
Like,
killer,
I don't
man.
see
I'm
it
a
in
freaking.
anything.
Like,
I'm assassin.
I'm competitive as hell, dude.
You are, yeah. Your whole
Like,
family is.
I try to stay as humble as possible about it all, but there's no doubt, man. Like I'm competitive as hell. I don't want any of my competitors to have a leg up on me. I don't want any of them winning. You know what I mean?
We can tell.
Like it definitely is what drives me is just my competitiveness, and I think that comes from being like a younger brother.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
like you were saying, dude, get my
Yeah,
ass.
I'm always like,
get my
hey,
ass
Steve, do you
kicked
want
on
to do the
field.
smaller insurance sponsorship for this
No,
next
go
one?
big.
And I'm
No,
like,
I'm just kidding.
No, yeah. He's like, you sure you don't want to do the small one? I'm like,
You
no,
sure
dude,
you
we're
don't want to
going
do the
big.
little one?
Yeah.
Let them take the top dog spot this
Steve
time.
doesn't half-ass anything. No, he does not.
No, we're like I always say, when we're in, we're all in.
We're all in,
Like we're
yeah.
not going to do it. That's why we've been talking about the Orlando stuff, right? And it's one of the reasons like I haven't pulled the trigger is because I don't think we're going to be all in, and I'm not going to do it unless I know we are going to be all in.
We don't want you guys if you're not all in.
You know what
respectfully.
I mean? Yeah.
no,
So it's perfect.
Yeah.
I mean that best way.
But
I didn't know that was even an option.
Well, we'll talk about that not on a podcast, maybe.
yeah.
I mean, we could talk about it on the podcast.
No, I mean,
do
for
it.
me, it's like it's an investment, right?
without my
It's a
price
contract.
list
It's a long term commitment, like you were talking earlier, right? And
not
so,
that long. It's only
and for
3 years.
me, it's
I know, it
like
goes by fast.
I want to do it, but my team's got to buy in.
I'll buy
you
it.
know?
I got a
And so-
girl going into college. I need more things to do.
All right, well, we'll talk further
Okay.
about it. I
About
mean,
it.
that's why I'm
saying,
bringing it
I
up,
was like,
though.
what
You
am I
know,
gonna do?
so
Yeah, there we go.
these are how deals
There
are
we
done
go.
here. You know, so
That's how we do it.
Live.
So there's a golf tournament, and then I'm just kidding. Next.
what are your most
750
favorite books that
bucks.
have changed Aaron and
Oh,
changed who you are?
$750.
I couldn't start, but
By the
I went.
way,
I used to
I
do
am
so
competitive.
years ago. I
know
did this
you
50
are.
book challenge. There was this 50 book challenge that my friend had spoken about at a conference, and I was like, "Man, that's pretty cool. I think I'm going to do it." And I had no clue what it would take to read 50 books in a year. I didn't know if it was possible to read 50 books in a year. In fact, I actually thought it was impossible to read 50 books in a year. But I was like, "I'm going to freaking try." So at the time, because I didn't know, that just meant that like any extra time I had to like read a
Be
book.
reading, yeah.
You know, like I didn't know. So like I started getting kind of addicted. Like I could listen to music, but I could just read this freaking book. And I ended up reading 63 books that year, I think.
Wow.
And so I just kept doing it. And it was 7-8 years in a row that I did it. In fact, the year that I had the brain injury was the year I wasn't going to do it. Or you can imagine why. And it was like May, and I was like, it'd be cool if I still fucking did this. And I did it from May till the end of the year. I hit 50.
Jeez.
And honestly, I still credit, like some of them I had to listen because like something like was not right. Like I screwed up the nerves in my right eye. So like sometimes reading and even just looking at things that people don't realize, I have like massive nerve damage in my face from slamming my head.
Yeah.
And and it screws me. Like I'm on camera and on stage, but like it bothers the hell out of me. Like the photographer I book like pops the camera and I can't look at just the camera and one, and
Yeah.
being an athlete my whole life. Like the other day I played pickleball and it's like they don't realize how athletic I have to be just to play the pickleball because I don't see the ball till it's right here.
Right, wow.
I see 2 balls for a bit. I can't track it. And it's like, so everything I'm doing is done like, anyway, maybe that'll get fixed. I don't know. But, but all I'm saying is, reading all the books, like I couldn't physically read them all that year.
You gotta
So
do
a lot of them I
audio.
listened to.
Yeah,
But I
audio's
kept
great.
notes. So I actually wrote all the notes from the book, like start to finish on my phone and I posted them. So you could actually find like all 50 books and all of the notes I wrote from all the 50 books in case you were like, and if you just wanted like Aaron's
God,
Cliff
what are
Notes, you could click the hashtag.
Are they
I didn't know
all-
what else to write on social. My brain wasn't working right. So I'm like, I'm going to keep, I kept all the notes on my books for 8 years. And,
Jeez, that's impressive.
and what's crazy is, you know, I decided to take a year or so off because I thought like, hey, maybe my brain needs a time, you know, like maybe I'll see how I do. And now I'm like, it's been a handful of years, maybe 5 years of not doing it. And I'm like, man, why did I stop?
Right.
You know, like there's no reason to stop. So if you're wondering about like, is it ever too many books? No, the answer is probably no. I think challenging yourself to spend your time wiser and fill your mind with inspiration. So Darren Hardy says like litter your mind with inspiration, he says. So I'm a big believer that like you have to wake up early and litter your mind with inspiration. Otherwise it gets filled with other people's bullshit.
Yeah, when are you listening? Like, when do you have time to listen?
In the morning. You wake
morning.
up. I mean, I spend 95% of my time by myself, so I have plenty of time to listen, to be honest. Like, when I'm not talking or on the phone, I can listen, you know? So I get up fairly early usually. Like, when I first hit my head, it took me a while to get back early. But I'm up early and I'm listening. I'm riding a bike. I'm in a sauna. I'm doing something, but I'm like filling my mind. So by the time it's time to jump on the phones, you know, if I'm up at 6 or 7 or 8, like by the time that 8 or 9 o'clock roll around, like I'm in the zone. I'm warmed up. I'm not playing around. And if I ever am up late where I'm not in the zone at 8 a.m., it's probably because I scheduled 200 messages to start at 9, and I'm gonna start a little later, but they're gonna look like I worked twice as hard, you know?
That's cool.
Yeah.
So that's just my
I think
style, dude. I'm intense.
I need to get into the audiobooks. Like, I listen to a lot in my car, but I don't listen to audiobooks. I listen to podcasts.
Yeah.
And so, like, I have my like 3 insurance podcasts that I listen to every week. You know, I do the Joe Rogan every now and then, and some other sports podcasts.
I used to think it was weird because I couldn't quantify it. Not like I'm like in a contest, but I'd be like, it's cool to read 50 books. It's like, I listened to 50 podcasts this year. It sounds shitty. So not that I like need to impress anybody, but just to me, that was like what drove it originally.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And
But I think
never
you can
stopped.
just learn a lot by concept. Like, instead of listening to music, you know, I always tell people, listen to a podcast in the car or listen to something. Like, learn as you're driving around. You got all that free time while you're driving around. Use it.
Yeah, I think
know?
it. I would agree, but I also think it depends on what type of music you're listening to and what type of energy and what type of state it's putting you in.
That's
So I
true.
think a lot of people listen to shitty music that fills their mind with shitty things, but like some people, they need some rhythm and beat that makes them happy and moving and whatever. And they need to like
I'm
tap
not gonna
into
lie,
that too.
dude.
You
Like,
know?
we'll have a big week at the office, or I'll leave here super energized or something, dude. And Snoop Dogg might come on. I don't know.
Yeah, some
just
people, you
saying.
know, and that's cool. You know, if that gets you pumped up, you know. But it's the people that are listening to the like F the world or let me slip my wrist or that kind of stuff, or screaming at her, you know, my mom was mean or whatever. Those people probably don't need to listen to as much of that.
Yeah, you're right.
What else? What else we got, man?
Where do you see Real Producers going over the next few? Like, what's the vision for it?
I mean, it's growing. Luckily, I don't run it. I don't have to manage, you know, spreading Real Producers around the country. We're fortunate to have a really good team and really good leadership, and so I'm not in a leadership role because I don't like managing people. So I'm more like I like to pioneer stuff and then teach people how we duplicate it, and I like to run more than myself where I can get my hands dirty. So I see like we own the rights to Broward Real Producers. Plan on relaunching that. A few other markets, maybe take over any in Florida that ever. If there's ever a market in Florida that transitions at some point and my team's ready and staffed to do it, if the opportunity presents itself, we're very ready to run. I think that we know not just this market, but our franchise system and how to run it properly. Like we know how to drive the spaceship, if you will. And you could put us in any market, and I firmly believe that my team knows exactly how to get to know the market, figure out who the people are, connect with them, run events that people will show up at, and that type of thing. So I think it's pretty rinse and repeat. So for us, it's just running our thing well, adding layers and trying new things that have been tested and proven in other markets. I don't just like randomly try something, but we're doing things like we have a builder summit that we've been doing in Indianapolis for 3 years. We're doing it for the first time in Orlando. We're doing a golf tournament. We've done them for years in Tampa and other markets. So if it goes really well, we'll probably do it in Space Coast. I think someday we'll do an awards gala in Space Coast like we do in Orlando. I think we finally figured out how to get everyone awarded without them fighting each other. So there's things like that I think roll out over time. But I think it's really just learning how to launch and run more of them in more places effectively, you know, and rinse and repeat, and then staff it better so I'm not the only one able to deliver the stuff, because I have a good staff, but I'd really like to have more people that like you'd feel just as comfortable having on this podcast or running the thing, because I really think that had a few things been different, my team and I could have run or helped, statewide, region-wide, different areas. So it's really just being ready to grow our, franchise group and help others.
Awesome, man.
That's awesome.
Awesome, man. Well, I think we're ready to wrap up, dude.
Love it, man.
I really appreciate you being here. Thank
guys.
you very much.
Appreciate you.
Thank you for your friendship and your partnership and all that stuff.
Thank you, guys.
Nice to
Appreciate
get to know
it.
you a little bit more.
It's fun.
When's the next event?
Coming up
Next Thursday.
Next
Yeah.
Thursday.
Next Thursday.
Yeah.
Next
Looking
Thursday.
forward to it.
If you got the invite, you're invited. If you didn't, don't show up, please.
All right, man. Thank you, guys. That's a wrap for this episode of the Studio 321 podcast, powered by Brightway, the Steve Trout Agency. We can't thank you enough for being part of our journey. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with a friend. Until next time, 3, 2, 1, we're out.